Folks! Welcome back to the Sports Card Dad YouTube channel. Today we've got a doozy reacting to a recent video by Rudy at Alpha Investments titled, Diversity is Key, Don't Give Up. First off, some housekeeping notes, some shout outs. I was recently on the Cousins Collectibles podcast talking with Tony and Oz, had a really good time. They also are Stranger Things collectors and they're collecting all sorts of different things. So that was a really good talk. I will put links to all these videos I'm going to talk about in the video description, so definitely check them out. Mike's Retro Trading Cards, the guys over there, 3 lifelong friends putting together some amazing stuff. Definitely check out Mike's Retro Trading Cards. They had me on for a segment. I'm not going to announce what it was because I don't think I'm supposed to yet, but they're going to be rolling out a pretty cool new segment. And then DPZ over at Luka Nation Network invited me on with John at Basketball Card Guy and Adam at Real 27 Guy to talk about top 5 collectible, for me it was top 5 collectible football players and also top 5 most iconic football cards. And then the other guys talked about basketball cards. So I appreciate DPZ bringing me on. I'm not necessarily a football card expert by any stretch, but I love football cards and talking about them. And there was some really good discussion, crossover between football and basketball and just collecting all sorts of different things. Those guys are a wealth of knowledge, so it was great to finally kind of meet them face to face and get on a podcast / YouTube station with them. Also got a care package from viewer Josh. Dustin, I wanted to reach out and just show my thanks for the time and free content you create and all you do. Thank you. I'm not going to read the rest of it, Josh. I might get a little bit teary. He sent me Saints cards as well as Bill Walton signed starting lineup. So cool, so damn cool. I think Josh might actually be related to Bill in some fashion. But hey man, thank you so much for thinking of me. Always very much appreciate you. And last but certainly not least, thank you to today's video sponsor, DC Sports 87. I sent these guys maybe 60 slabs over the last month, anywhere between like $10, $100, because I didn't want to deal with it on eBay, frankly. They put it all up there. They track everything in real time. So as auctions end and people pay for auctions, it just gets tracked in real time right there on the website. And then it's only one business day once you pick kind of payment, how you want to be paid, one business day to turn all that around. So just had an amazing experience with DC Sports 87. Definitely check them out. If you might not want to sell the stuff yourself on eBay, package it all up, they provide a great service. All right, let's get to the meat of the video. Diversity is Key, Don't Give Up by Rudy Alpha Investments. He hit on a bunch of different points. And again, I'll put the link to the video in my video description. Definitely check it out. The one thing I really like about Rudy is he is obviously a heavy bag holder for Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards. TCG is his thing. So he's not a sports card person, but a lot of the stuff he's talking about, you can cross it over. It relates to sports cards and really all different types of collectibles. And this video was great. One point that he made that I thought was really good is he's buying hundreds of different products of these types of cards. He is a distributor, and so he's buying product himself. He's selling some of it to Patreons at a little bit of a premium so that he can make a little bit on the back end. And he's just been building and building and building for a long time. He also does buy singles for these. He's bought singles going back, when it was really inexpensive to buy singles of Pokemon and Black Lotus and kind of the cool MTG stuff, but he's really a sealed product guy. That's really the meat of his holdings. He's got anywhere from 7 to 10 million plus of sealed product in various warehouses. So he's got heavy bags of this stuff, and he's been playing the game and a long-time believer in the product for 20 years. So he's an OG in the space. Highly entertaining channel as well. He talks about, your wife's boyfriend, your wife's husband. It's hilarious stuff. And so he's buying a large variety of product with the idea, the diversification idea, that some of it's going to do amazing, some of it's going to do badly, and some of it's going to just be flat, but he's just going to kind of carry it all through. And at the end of the day, he's really, I think in the video he mentions he's looking at 7 to 10% annually is kind of his goal. And if he can hit that, then fantastic, then that is a win. It kind of reminded me too, we've talked about on the channel before, art dealers would do the same, kind of a similar thing with diversification, where all these artists are coming out with different artwork. You don't know who's going to be the next Picasso, and most of them are not going to be the next Picasso. But a lot of these art dealers, they're basically just buying portfolios of many, many, many different artists, and a lot of them are going to crash, but you have the one or two that are the Picasso that make up for all the rest that didn't work out. Does this sound familiar? I feel like we talk about this too with sports card prospecting. Now, are there differences between all these things? Of course. There's variance, there's nuance to all of these discussions, but the idea of prospecting, day trading, you're buying kind of a basket of players, and there might be one Giannis out of there. There might be one Mike Trout that comes out of there. There might be one Luka Doncic or whatever it is. He talked about one Magic the Gathering box where it was $1,000 box where patrons had made $100,000, basically 100x their money, which over the last few years we've heard of various stories like this with cards, with NFTs, all sorts of different types of collectibles. And the patrons had said like, hey, I was able to sell, I put money down on a house thanks to buying into this particular box. So you can have these massive winners. They are mostly anomalies, but they can happen. But that's exactly why he just buys a variety of different stuff. He's just buying different types of products, and that's how he's doing it. Now, what's interesting, the pushback on diversification, it might come from a place that you wouldn't think. We've talked about it before also. Buffett and Munger. So Warren Buffett, he's actually not a fan of diversification, with a caveat. He's a fan of diversification if you don't know how to choose companies. Obviously, those are big stock guys. They're buying into companies, but they're heavily researched in. That's what they do. That's what Warren Buffett and Munger have been doing for decades. They research companies, they figure out who's running them, and they go, they make their moves. They make big moves, big bets on companies that they believe are strong, and they've done very well at that. Now, the majority of us, myself included, I don't have enough faith in myself to go out and pick individual companies and do amazingly well there. And so to spread my risk out, just like a lot of folks out there like yourselves, I'm buying into index funds. So I'm buying into, the S&P 500 because I'm not confident in my ability to pick out the 10 companies that I think are going to perform the best out of the S&P 500. So what do a lot of people do? Well, they just buy the basket. They buy the basket of stocks. And so I guess the idea of diversification, if you really feel strongly about a particular company, a particular product or whatever it is, and you've done tons of research, you really know the space, then maybe that is the route. But one thing that Rudy also points out towards the end of the video is he will win over most people just based on the fact that he is going to outwork most people and stay more consistent than most people. Stay more consistent at buying in, staying more consistent at just continuously doing the things that he's doing and moving in that direction. I thought that was really a great point, because the one thing that we can control, any of us, is how much we work, how much effort we put into any particular thing. And so I thought it was just a really interesting conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.